Welcome back to Learn English Naturally. Today we're going deep on a situation you'll probably find yourself in, whether you're traveling or just need a different set of wheels for a bit.
Yeah, you got it.
Renting a car.
That's right. And we are going to equip you with all the vocabulary, all the phrases that you need to confidently navigate that whole rental process from start
To finish.
to finish.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming,
Yeah, especially in another language.
especially in another language. So
Yeah.
let's break it down step by step. Imagine we've arrived at the rental counter. What are some of those key words right off the bat that we really need to understand?
Well, one of the first things that you'll encounter is the rental agreement.
The rental agreement.
Yeah, and this document outlines all the terms and conditions of your rental.
Oh, okay.
It's super important to pay close attention to the details here because it contains some really crucial information, like the mileage limit,
Below the mileage limit.
which tells you how many miles you can drive without getting charged extra.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely been caught out by that before. Those mileage overages.
Oh, yeah, they can get you.
Any tips on how to avoid that?
Absolutely. Before you sign anything, think about your itinerary. How many miles will you realistically drive? And here's a little insider tip. It's always better to overestimate than underestimate.
That's such a good point.
Yeah, you don't want to be hit with those unexpected fees at the end of your rental.
No, you really don't.
Nope.
So we've got rental agreement. We've got mileage limit. What other essential vocabulary should we kind of have under our belts?
Okay, well, you'll need your driver's license, of course.
Driver's license, of course.
And then there's the often confusing but essential world of insurance.
Oh, yes. Insurance can feel like a maze
Yeah, it can.
of different options.
It really can.
Where do we even begin with that?
Let's start with liability insurance.
Liability insurance.
This type of insurance covers any damage you might cause to other people or their property
While driving the rental car.
while driving the rental car. That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so for example,
Mhm.
if I accidentally backed into another car in the parking lot,
Yes.
my liability insurance would help cover the cost
Of the repairs to their car.
to their car.
Yes, it protects you financially in case of an accident
Got it.
where you are at fault.
Okay, liability insurance is definitely going in my mental vocabulary bank.
Okay, good.
What other types of insurance are typically offered?
Another common one is collision damage waiver, or CDW for short.
CDW.
CDW covers damage to the rental car itself,
Okay.
regardless of who is at fault.
So even if the damage wasn't my fault,
Exactly.
like let's say a hailstorm came and dented the car,
Yes,
CDW would still help cover those repairs.
that's right. It gives you that peace of mind knowing that you won't be held responsible for damage caused by events outside of your control.
That's good.
Yeah. Now, it's important to note, there are situations where CDW might not cover the damage.
Oh, okay.
So always read the fine print.
Yeah, the fine print.
For example, if you were driving off-road, when it's explicitly prohibited in the agreement, you might not be covered.
That's really important to know.
Yeah.
Always a good idea to read the details carefully. Ask questions.
Yes, always ask questions.
If anything is unclear,
If anything is unclear, exactly knowledge is power,
knowledge is power. I like that,
especially when it comes to insurance.
especially when it comes to insurance.
If-
So some rental companies offer full coverage,
yes.
which essentially bundles liability insurance and CDW together.
Yes, that's right.
But even with full coverage, it's still really crucial to understand the specific terms and conditions.
It really is.
Okay, so we've covered some really key vocabulary.
We have.
Rental agreement,
Yes.
mileage limit, driver's license, liability insurance, collision damage waiver, full coverage.
Wow.
That's a lot to take in. But you've explained it so clearly.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Now that we've got those basics down,
Yes.
let's move on to some practical phrases that you can use when you're actually interacting with the rental agent.
Okay, because vocabulary is just one piece of the puzzle, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We've got to put it all together.
We do.
So let's shift gears a little bit. Let's dive into those essential phrases. What are some common scenarios we might encounter at the rental counter?
Okay, well, imagine you've just stepped up to the counter and the agent greets you with,
Okay.
"Hi, how can I help you today?"
I would probably say something like, "Hi, I'd like to rent a car."
That's perfect.
Simple and to the point.
Simple and to the point.
But what if I have specific dates in mind?
You can easily add that information in. You could say, "I'd like to rent a car from this date to this date," or "I need a car for this many days."
I need a car for 3 days.
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay. Now, what if I have a preference for the type of car I want to rent?
You can definitely express your preferences.
Yeah.
You can ask, "Do you have any compact cars available?" Or I'm looking for an SUV.
I'm looking for an SUV.
There you go.
Got it. And what about if I want to make sure they have a car with automatic transmission?
You can simply ask, do you have any automatic cars? Most rental agencies these days primarily offer automatic cars.
But it's always good to double check.
Especially if you prefer driving a manual.
Especially if you prefer driving a manual.
Yeah, do you have any automatic cars? That's easy enough.
Yeah.
So we've covered the initial greetings, how to specify the type of car we're looking for.
We have.
What comes next?
Well, this is usually where the conversation turns to insurance.
Oh, yes.
Remember those important terms we discussed earlier?
Right, liability insurance, CDW, and all that.
Exactly.
How do I politely ask about those options?
A simple and straightforward way to inquire is to ask, is insurance included in the rental price?
Oh, okay.
This will clarify whether the quoted price already includes any insurance coverage.
Is insurance included in the rental price? That's a good one to remember.
Yes.
But what if I want to know more about the specific types of insurance offered?
You can follow up with, could you explain the different insurance options?
Okay.
Or if you're interested in a specific type, you could say, what does the collision damage waiver cover?
What does the collision damage waiver cover?
Huh.
That's perfect for getting those details.
Yes.
So we've successfully navigated the initial stages of the rental process. We've learned some key vocabulary. We've practiced some essential phrases for greeting the agent, and even figured out how to ask about insurance.
I think you're ready.
I think I am too.
I think you are.
But our journey doesn't end there.
It doesn't. We still need to talk about what happens when it's time to return the car
Mm-hmm.
and how to avoid any of those surprises or extra fees.
You're right. We've only just begun.
We still need to talk about what happens when it's time to return the car and how to avoid any surprises or extra fees.
You're right. We've only just begun.
Exactly. We've tackled everything from the initial greeting to asking about insurance.
But the journey's not over yet. We still need to talk about returning the car,
Yeah.
which can sometimes be a source of confusion or stress.
You're absolutely right. There are definitely some key phrases and tips that can help make that return process smooth and hassle-free.
So let's say our rental period is over. We're pulling back into the rental lot.
Okay.
What should our first step be?
Okay. Once you've parked the car, head over to the rental counter.
Okay.
And when you approach the agent, you can simply say, "Hi, I'm returning my car."
Hi, I'm returning my car. Straightforward, easy to remember.
Easy peasy.
Now, what usually happens next?
Well, the agent will likely ask for some basic information like your name or your rental agreement number.
Okay.
They might say something like, "Can I have your name and rental agreement number, please?"
Okay, so I give them my name, find my rental agreement. Is there anything else I should be prepared for?
They'll probably ask about the fuel level.
Okay.
A common question is, did you fill up the gas tank?
The gas tank.
Most rental agreements require you to return the car with a full tank of gas.
Ah, yes, the fuel tank.
Yeah.
That's a detail I would not want to forget.
Nope.
So if I filled up the tank before returning the car, I'd simply say, yes, I filled up the tank.
Exactly. Being clear and concise makes the whole process so much smoother.
Makes sense. But what if I forgot to fill it up?
Oh, it happens?
It happens to the best of us.
Eh.
What's the best way to handle that situation?
You can honestly just say, "No, I haven't had a chance to fill it up yet."
Okay.
Most rental companies will offer to fill it up for you,
Oh, okay.
but they typically charge a premium for that convenience. So it's usually much cheaper to fill it up yourself beforehand.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth taking those few minutes to fill up the tank and avoid those extra charges.
Absolutely.
Now, are there any other common questions or situations we might encounter during that return process?
The agent might ask if you experience any issues with the car.
Oh,
For example, they might say, "Were there any problems with the car during your rental?"
so if everything was fine, I could simply say, no, there weren't any problems.
Easy peasy.
But what if there was an issue?
Oh.
Like a warning light came on?
It's important to be honest and report any issues.
Yeah.
Even if they seem minor,
Okay.
you can say, "Yes, there was a problem. The engine light came on yesterday."
Yes, there was a problem.
Yeah.
The engine light came on yesterday.
Got it.
Got it. It's better to be upfront about any issues and avoid potential complications later.
Absolutely. Transparency is key.
Transparency is key.
Now, once the agent has reviewed everything and processed the return, they might say something like, "Everything looks good. You're all set."
Everything looks good, you're all set. That's music to my ears after returning a rental car.
Yeah, it definitely is. It means you've successfully navigated that entire rental process from picking up the car to returning it without a hitch.
I feel so much more confident about renting a car now. We've covered so many practical tips and essential phrases.
Yeah, and remember the key is to practice these phrases and visualize yourself using them in real-life situations. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
Absolutely. And even if you make a mistake, don't worry.
It happens.
Everyone makes mistakes when learning a new language. The important thing is to keep practicing
Exactly.
and not be afraid to ask for clarification.
That's such an important point. Don't hesitate to ask the agent to repeat something or to explain it in a different way if you don't understand.
Did you please repeat that, or did you explain that in a different way? Those are good phrases to keep in your back pocket.
Exactly. Remember, communication is a two-way street. Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself and make sure you understand everything clearly.
I'm so glad we covered this topic in such depth. It's definitely given me the confidence and the tools that I need to conquer my next car rental adventure.
Me too. It's been a pleasure sharing these tips and phrases with you. Remember, with a little practice and preparation, renting a car can be a breeze.
Wow, we have covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from essential vocabulary like rental agreement and collision damage waivers, to those practical phrases for every step of the process. You are now well equipped to handle your next car rental experience.
That's right. But beyond just the practicalities, what I find fascinating is how language empowers us to navigate these new and potentially stressful situations.
It's true.
By mastering these phrases, you're not just learning about renting a car, you're building confidence in your ability to communicate effectively in English.
That is such a good point. It's about so much more than just the words themselves, right?
Right.
It's about feeling comfortable and prepared to kind of handle whatever comes your way.
Exactly. And remember, everyone learns at their own pace.
That's true.
Don't be discouraged if you don't feel completely fluent right away. The key is to keep practicing and exposing yourself to the language.
You know what I find helpful is visualizing myself using these phrases in a real life scenario. It's almost like a mental rehearsal.
That's an excellent technique. Visualizing yourself successfully navigating that car rental process can really boost your confidence and help solidify those phrases in your memory.
Absolutely. And remember, even if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world.
Oh, it happens.
It's all part of the learning process.
Mistakes are opportunities to learn and grow. Don't be afraid to laugh at yourself and keep moving forward.
This has been such an insightful deep dive.
Mhm.
I feel like I've gained not only practical language skills, but also a deeper understanding of how to approach learning and using English in real-world situations.
I'm so glad to hear that. And remember, we're here to support you on your language learning journey.
Before we sign off, we want to encourage you to think about your next travel experience. Will you need to rent a car? Imagine yourself confidently walking up to that rental counter, armed with all of the vocabulary and phrases we've discussed today.
Picture yourself smoothly handling every step, from picking up the keys to returning the car. You got this.
And if you find yourself needing a little refresher, don't hesitate to revisit this episode. We're always here to help you build your confidence and fluency.
And don't forget to subscribe to Learn English Naturally. For more deep dives into essential English topics, we've got so much more to explore together.
We do. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep practicing and keep learning.